Right.
It's
Like,
first and foremost in yoga.
okay.
It's the gap, it bridges the gap between your mind and body. It brings you into the present. It calms you down. There's so many benefits. Increased emotional calmness. Reduces the effects of stress, obviously. It breaks the cycles of cravings and addictions.
Hey guys, welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Odd Inspiring Athlete podcast. For our first episode this season, we're going to be talking about the importance of breath with personal trainer and alpha coach Josh Thomas, as well as yoga instructor Elektra Hendrickson. Before we get started though, I want to make sure you guys know about a really cool event that's happening on January 26th. It's called Flex Into Fit. It is at the Lifetime Fitness Lenexa location, starting at 10 a.m., lasting till noon. The first hour of that class is actually a sampling of the different classes that Lifetime Fitness has to offer. This event is free, and it is pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. I've been to these before. I will actually be at this event on the 26th. You guys will get to try out the GTX class, as well as the Alpha Strength and the Alpha Metcon class. It is a heck of a fun time. So, if group fitness is your jam, and you want to see what it's all about, come try it out. If it's not, and you need some help getting motivated, come try it out anyways. It could be a lot of fun. The first part of that actual 2-hour period is a workout. The second part is a social, and that's where you get to meet and greet with the coaches that lead the classes and are leading that event, as well as you'll get to meet some of the people that take the class on a regular basis, ask them questions, try to stump them, whatnot. Come try it out. Don't miss it. It's awesome. Again, it's free. You have nothing to lose. Member or not, come try it out. Now on to our housekeeping items. First and foremost is my caveat. You guys know I'm not an expert that works in the health and fitness field by now. I am someone who has a heck of a lot of passion around health, fitness, and nutrition, as well as helping others along the way. I am like many of you. I've had my own struggles, mostly due to poor health habits, mostly around food. And it wasn't until I got the help of a very patient professional coach that this changed for me personally. Number 2 would be our purpose. Our purpose is to basically talk about topics trending in the health and fitness community, as well as topics that you guys throw at us with professionals that work in the field. So we speak with physical therapists, we speak with personal trainers, coaches, doctors, nutritionists, dietitians, about whatever is on your guys' mind. We go in and we ask the questions. Let me be the one that to tell you, I do not know everything about these things that you guys are sending our way, but I am happy to ask the questions, and it's a lot of fun. So that purpose, really, it helps pretty much any type of athlete out there. You might be a seasoned professional that's been doing it for a little while, or you might be someone who's just getting started on your fitness journey and you're overwhelmed by all the information that's available everywhere. Third and last is, hey guys, we love hearing from you. Keep sending your questions our way. You can reach us a multitude of ways. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a Google voicemail account. We also have a email account. So you guys, please keep bringing it our way. We like hearing from you. I'll put that information in the show notes for you so you guys can reach out to us. And you're also welcome to reach out to the coaches as well. They will also share their information in this podcast. So make sure you guys reach out if you have questions for them regarding any of the topics that we talk about, as well as things that might be on your mind. Now, let's get on to the good stuff. Hey guys, this is Audrey with the Odd Inspiring Athlete podcast. This week we're going to be talking about the importance of breath with Coach Elektra and Coach Josh. Before we get started though, guys, tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got to where you're at today, kind of your origin story. Josh, we're going to start with you.
All right. So I'm originally from Las Vegas, Nevada. Grew up out there, grew up playing all kinds of sports. Wrestling actually took me out here, so I got a scholarship to come wrestle at Baker. That's kind of, through sports is where my passion for fitness kind of started. That's kind of the one half is the sports performance side. I love working with all kinds of athletes. And then the other side is just going from a scrawny little kid to trying to lift weights and get bigger. And I think just trying to help people get better every day is kind of the other half of health and fitness.
I would never think that you were scrawny looking at you today.
I wrestled 112 pounds my freshman year of high school.
Oh my gosh. What do you weigh now, if I can ask?
180.
Wow, we almost weigh the same. Wait, no, I have 9 pounds on you still. Okay, so what kind of certifications you got?
So right now I have USA weightlifting, level 1, level 2, corrective exercise specialist, and then my CPT.
Cool. All right, Elektra, it's your turn. Tell me about you.
Thanks for having me.
No, we're excited to have you.
Same here. I am originally from California, and my mom was a hippie, and our family was here in Kansas City, so we moved back when I was a little bit older, and my mom introduced me to yoga when I was about 12. And the guy up above me in class was ripping it the whole time, and I thought, I am never going to do this, ever. This is weird and gross. And then once I got into yoga after having my first child, because I thought, oh, this is why people work out. And thought, oh, I'll try yoga, because it's not as rough, or I hadn't ever worked out in my life. And fell in love with the feeling, the buzz that you get after class. Kind of this euphoric sense of calmness and peace. And I've been doing it ever since, and that was about 15 years ago. And then I met Sue Park, and took her teacher training. And now I'm a 200-hour yoga teacher. I've been teaching 4 years. Yeah.
Sweet. So certification-wise, what do you got?
In yoga, we're called registered RYT, so registered yoga teacher. I'm a 200-hour at this point.
Wow. Breath. This is something that we commonly hear. I've heard you say, Elektra, on the yoga mat. And Josh, I've heard you or the other coaches talk about on the platform, is make sure you breathe. Talk to me about what this really means, and let's start with Elektra.
What does the breath mean?
Yeah, what do you mean when you talk about breath? Like breathe?
Connecting with your breath.
Right.
It's
like
first and foremost in yoga.
Okay.
It's the gap. It bridges the gap between your mind and body. It brings you into the present. It calms you down. There's so many benefits. Increased emotional calmness. Reduces the effects of stress, obviously. It breaks the cycles of cravings and addictions. And it provides access to suppressed feelings, and those can show up on the yoga mat.
I've had that happen before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very important to breathe through it.
Yeah. How about you, Josh?
I like what she said. It's kind of the first thing in a different way for kind of movement and starting to work out, starting for strength training. You got to learn how to breathe and kind of control your breathing, so one, you're not going to pass out when you're lifting.
Yeah,
but
that'd be
also,
good. Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Also how to brace your core so you don't hurt your back in a simple way. But yeah, it's kind of the first step to basic strength training. Learn how to control your breath and move at the same time.
Some of us like to hold our breath.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
That's me.
Same.
Okay, so Elektra, I've heard you talk about the 3-part breath in yoga class. Tell us a little bit about that.
Speaking of holding your breath,
Yes.
3-part breath changed my life because I would hold my stomach in, like up and in, and hold my breath when under stress.
Yeah.
And when I was introduced to the 3-part breath, you relax the belly, the base of the lung. We call it diaphragmatic breathing. Let the belly expand on your inhale. And then you slowly build on top by adding the rib cage and then the sternum. So you're getting the whole lobe of the lung, or the whole abdomen. So first part is inhaling belly. Second part is mid-lobe, which is the ribs. Third part is the sternum.
No, I remember you were one of the first ones that explained that, and I've been going to yoga for a little while. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Why have I not been doing this? And you had also talked about the perspective how I remember the class you did this. You talk about how, like, we're basically as humans walking around almost like hyperventilating in a sense, because you're only using the upper portion. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like having these epiphanies on the mat, and I'm like, I need to bring her into the podcast.
Awesome.
Like, she needs to talk about this.
So glad to be here. Well, with that being said, with 3-part breath, the key is the elongated exhale. So you're inhaling belly, side sternum. Slowing that exhale down drops you into that calming state. I can't give you the scientific words. I know it's parasympathetic. I'd have to go back to my notes, but I'm able to get you there on the mat, and that's what's important.
Well, you do a good job.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. How about you, Josh? How about on the Alpha platform or with your PT clients? I know we've talked about this a little bit, but you know, how you breathe is important, especially when you're underweight or under squat or whatever it is, or even you're just doing other types of movements. Talk to me a little bit about that.
That back to kind of what she's saying about the diaphragmatic breathing. That's a big thing for helping people brace their core, especially under heavy load. If you're going to go do a heavy squat, even a light squat, you don't want to go under there without any air in your belly. That's making sure that somebody can squat first, but you got to be able to breathe before you can squat. So taking people through like breathing drills, like some bear breathing or something on the mat where they can actually feel themselves inhale through their stomach instead of just chest breathing, is a good start for a lot of PT clients.
It's funny, since you had talked about it in class, I've become more aware of what the belly breathing, what that is, because I'm like, oh wait, I'm not breathing I'm not breathing all the way through my belly. And I think even when you did it with us, like you like walked us through it, like breathing all the way through, and then you're filling it fully up, and then letting it back out. You're emptying all of it out of your system.
The holds.
Yep. So overall, why is this important for us to do? Definitely, Josh, she had kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but why is this important when it comes to when you're doing whatever type of weightlifting or whatnot, that breathing perspective? What happens if you hold your breath, right?
Yeah, a lot of bad things. Blood pressure issues. You can pass out. Easy way to hurt your back or herniate a disc if you don't breathe and brace. Not saying that. Just one of the. It happens for a lot of reasons, but that's something that can definitely help prevent it. You know how to engage your core. That's another thing I say all the time, which kind of goes hand in hand with breathing. Making sure that you can take a big, deep breath in and control everything while you're moving. It's definitely really important.
So if you can cue for us what it should feel like when you talk about bracing, that's hard for some people, right? Like, I know from a weightlifting perspective, unless you have something for some people, something to physically push your belly against, like a belt, it's hard to tell when you're bracing, right? Yeah,
and so that's like with PT clients, that's a good place to start, not with the belt, but on the ground, like external feedback, maybe my hand on your side or something like that. That's why the ground's helpful. You get that biofeedback from, you can feel yourself push into the ground. But then going to the belt, there's some good studies out there about creating that intra-abdominal pressure and kind of breathing out into the belt, just for that, again, that biofeedback, feeling yourself tense up a little bit more.
How about you, Elektra? Anything you want to add as far as from a yoga perspective, how we can help ourselves be aware of that? Like, are we doing this right? That's essentially the question.
In yoga class?
Yeah, you were talking about, so from, like, if we're laying on the mat and you are getting us started and you're talking about the breath, like, how do we know through the move, are we breathing correctly? Are we exhausting our lungs the correct way? Are we filling them the correct way? What are some signs, like, even if it's like you talked about putting your stomach on your belly, or what are some good ways? Are some of the things he's talking about translate well into like yoga or,
Absolutely. I think placing your hand on your stomach and finding a smooth rhythm, coming into the 3-part breath, also known as Durga in yoga, Durga breath, it can feel very choppy because we're so used to holding up and in. And that's usually a sign of, or as a society, we hold up and in because we've been told to suck it up.
Yeah.
Here on the yoga mat, you're able to release and let go and allow the belly to expand. So first, starting out with the 3-part breath, just feeling it with your hands for sensory awareness.
Okay, so are there different types? And then how do they translate from the yoga mat to other athletic pursuits? So is there more than the 3-part breath?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There is a lot more. I bring 3-part breath with a format here at Elektra known as Root. I brought it into the surrender just because most of us are holding, and in surrender we're asked to let go. And
My favorite
surrender.
class, by the way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You should totally try it, Josh.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
join
great.
us.
I put it off for too long.
Uh-oh.
Well, she's going to be your accountability buddy.
Challenge
Yeah.
accepted.
So what are the other types of breath? Do you want to talk about those briefly? Kind of help us understand.
Ujjayi breath is another one. It translates into victorious breath. I've also heard it say Darth Vader breath. I'll do it here. It's drawing the air in through the nose, hollow out through the back of the throat, filling up the lungs. You could use 3-part breath there as well. And then on the exhale, there's slight constriction in the throat, and you're exhaling back out the nose. You can come into the Ujjayi breath at a faster pace, like let's say in our flow classes, or you can even slow that down and top the 3-part breath off with your Ujjayi. The Ujjayi breath helps with focus. It gives you kind of this, I like to say this bowl effect when you're getting pretty heated and heavy in practice. It creates a cadence and a rhythm, and that's all you're thinking about on the floor, on the yoga mat, is breathing with this cadence of this Ujjayi breath. Again, it all brings you back into your body, and that's the most important.
Gotcha. So you named one, right? Is there any other
3-part
ones?
breath.
Yeah.
Ujjayi breath. There's fire breathing. There are sun and moon breathing, which is nostril holding, and you're breathing in one side of the nose, exhale out the other side. You're inhaling, exhaling on one side of the nose. I mainly just teach 3-part breath
3-part?
And the Ujjayi.
Because
of the classes.
Do you feel like those are the most beneficial? Probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ujjayi is usually your first one you're going to hear most, and then 3-part breath, whether the teacher practices it on their own. Usually,
I'm trying to figure out how would you do the other one with your finger? Like that'd be kind of like when you're like trying to do yoga and you're.
it's before. It's usually before.
And Electra's like,
after.
stop
You're
picking your
not
nose
doing
on
it
me.
during the flow. No, no. And the breathing practices it's a yoga practice in itself, and there are teachers that are more specialized in one or the other. So ask your yoga teacher.
You're my yoga teacher.
I know. Well, here's my answers. But if you're at any other gym, and if you take a yoga class, they will have their favorite breath.
Yeah.
And mine just has to be 3-part breath because it changed my life.
It is life changing. Definitely, once you understand what it's supposed to feel like and you do it, like you're like, oh shit, I've been doing this wrong all along.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's okay. You learn and you grow and you get better at it. So next is our true false question, and so you guys can both weigh in on this. Breathing primarily into your chest is better than breathing through my belly. Why or why not?
Repeat the question.
So breathing into your chest is better than breathing through my belly.
It's false.
Okay. Straight false. Why?
Well, we want to walk around with a soft belly and use our whole lobe of the lung, and so you want to drop that air down in your base lobe to get your full oxygen intake.
I would also think, Josh, from a strength perspective, you'll gain more strength if you push it into the belly.
Yeah, I think the idea with strength training is instead of taking a big breath in your chest, you kind of brace your core, which is down in your belly. I mean, it's everywhere around, the front, the back, the sides, but that's where you're getting that stability from. That's where you have the ability to create a lot of that power from.
Yeah.
Having a nice braced, tight core.
So just breathing. I'm trying to brace my core right now.
I know.
Can you guys tell? Am I making faces?
In everyday life, you need to be aware of your breath, so
Yeah.
soften that belly.
Okay, so now it's your guys' turn. You guys have to flip it on me. Who wants to take this one?
How's your ujjayi breath?
How's my ujjayi breath? So that's where you're breathing into the belly, right?
That's your 3/4 breath.
And that's not, okay. She got me.
I told you.
All right. Help me.
So how's your 3/4 breath?
It is okay. Like, I know when I do it, like, I'm better than I used to be because I didn't know that I wasn't doing it right. And now that I do it, sometimes I forget in yoga. Like, I'll be on the mat and I'll be like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to be breathing into my belly. I'm not doing that. Because then I realize, I'm like, why am I just breathing? Everybody else is not breathing this hard. Why am I breathing this hard? And then it's like, oh, wait, I'm not breathing all the way down into my belly, and then I'm not emptying it all out. But when I do remember to do it, I definitely walk out feeling more balanced for some reason versus otherwise, like I don't. So as it transfers to weightlifting, some of you guys might know I herniated a disc in my low back doing deadlift, and I definitely was not breathing correctly and not bracing my core. So some of my passion behind this one, where I was like, "Oh, guys, we got to talk about this," was because of that. But also, everybody can benefit from this because we're all probably walking around breathing into our chest.
Right.
But I feel like it's better than I was. Like, I feel like I'm better than what I was before.
How's your 3/4 breath off the mat? Like, how are you connected with your 3/4 breath off the mat?
Not good. I don't think I am.
Well, periodically, do you notice that you're holding and then you soften your belly and you take a better breath?
I do.
Perfect.
It's usually I don't know why, it's usually easier to notice when I'm sitting down versus standing up. Like, I'll notice that maybe it's just because I'm sitting here and I can feel my back because, right, the core wraps all the way around, as Josh had mentioned earlier. I can feel my back kind of push up against the back of my chair or whatnot. But I'm not as good at it in the outside world as I am when I'm in the gym. Definitely better at it in yoga than I am at weightlifting. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to start doing better. What?
Oh, I feel like that's one of those annoying cues that trainers walk around and say, like, where people think it's one of those annoying cues, like breathe or keep your core tight, but it's because everybody forgets about it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the important things that
Adam gets mad at me. Adam gets mad at me because he's like, Audrey, breathe. And I'm like, I am breathing.
Especially in alpha when you're going and it's everybody's having fun and everybody's working hard, it's really easy to forget, like, okay, maybe slow my deadlift down in between each rep and reset and
focus
breathe.
on bracing and breathing and doing it right. I think it makes a big difference. It will definitely make a big difference for me, but I think that it is kind of annoying when we hear it. I think it's taking the time to explain to people what that really means, especially new members. This is what your breath should feel like. And, like, almost bring Elektra because she does a really good job cueing it, but just explaining to us what it means and what it should feel like when you're bracing and understanding how are you supposed to use that when you're lifting, right? Like, when's the right time? Like, Adam taught me how to breathe under squat. I always thought you breathe at the very top and not when you're 3/4 of the way down before you start pushing up, right? And then, like, it's easier for me to remember to brace and breathe when I squat versus some of the other ones because I don't know why. Because he showed me how.
Well, I think even in alpha, it's going to help translate into pacing yourself in all of our conditioning. Outside of alpha, even any kind of conditioning that you're doing, and that's a little bit different than just breathing to brace your core, but learning how to control your breath. And maybe that's an Elektra question, but how to pace yourself and breathe throughout the whole conditioning instead of burning yourself out and you're dead and you can't finish.
That's an excellent point. So the easiest place for me to remember to do it is in the pool when I'm swimming laps, because it's when I first used to swim, I used to panic because I thought I was going to run out of air, right? And I would be swimming like fully on my arms, like someone who's trying to get to shore who's about to die, right? And so since then, I've had some help and some from Adam and stuff, but one of the epiphanies was, and it was after I took your class, I started to understand that, slowly letting your breath out, what it really means to breathe, like fill your lungs all the way down. Your lungs don't stop up here in your rib cage, but breathing all the way down, right? So it's understanding. So swimming, and I mostly swim freestyle stroke, but it was understanding like that is almost an easier place to start to understand it. Is what does it mean when you fill your lungs? Because when you're underwater, it's oxygen's like 1,000 times more important, because you're like, oh my god, I gotta breathe.
Don't drown.
Yeah, don't drown. But it's don't panic. But the nice thing about it, like when I am best able to relax, is when I use 3-part when I'm in the pool.
Bingo.
Yeah, because then I'm like, then you're miraculously your stroke gets better. You start to feel better. If you wear a heart rate monitor when you swim, like, and I've seen it, I'm able to watch the glowing dot on my thing as it changes color and it starts to slow down. Is the ability to control your breath. So it's pretty cool. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, it is. It's really neat when you see it and you're like, oh, that's what Elektra meant.
Yay!
Yeah.
Winning.
Or that's what Adam meant. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
So for performance too, that's going to do a lot for conditioning. If you can keep your heart rate lower and keep yourself full of oxygen, that's going to help you deliver energy a lot better and be way more efficient at using that energy to do whatever it is that you're doing, swimming, running,
Olympic
crazy
lifting,
Metcon that you feel like you're dying, and if you can use that oxygen to transport energy, you're going to be way better off.
I'm almost afraid to find out what you're going to put on the Metcon for Monday. By the way, Josh is the programmer, so it's going to be fun. He's probably going to say, remember, we're going to make this one so Audrey remembers how to breathe 3-part breath through class. Okay, so for you guys, what are 3 to 5 things that you would like for us to remember from this episode?
First, I think always starting, whether you're a new person or you've been lifting for a while, kind of check yourself and make sure like that you know how to control your breath when you lift heavy. For me, that's a big thing. Like, it's painful watching people out there lift heavy and not be under control. And that, I'm sure, means that they're not breathing right. And that's a big place to start. So
their face being beet red isn't the first sign. It's probably usually when there's other
that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah.
So I would say just check yourself there. And if that's great and you feel great, that's good. That means you're probably doing pretty well. And if not, you don't know how to do that, you can reach out and ask anybody here. I know everybody here is very willing to help or go to yoga and learn how to do it.
Yeah, maybe that should be your origin point.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, it's don't take it offensively. Maybe that's a good place to start people, is on the mat, understanding someone like Elektra. What does it mean to do 3-part breath? And then how do we use that in the weightlifting world, right? Like, when is it? So it sounds like you're saying 3-part is also helpful in that perspective too, but it's understanding what that does for you, right? Like, if you want to, you don't want to die on the Metcon, practice breathing through your belly. Yeah. Elektra, what do you got?
Well, just taking the 3-part breath, the importance of breath off the mat. So you're coming to the yoga class, you're coming to the mat to train in breathing, and taking that mindfulness away with you. It's very important. Do you want to practice 3-part breath here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sit up straight, everyone. Press your feet into the floor.
Don't cross your legs.
Sitting bones a little bit, and draw the shoulders back. And then place one hand on your belly, other hand on the heart. And then on your next inhale, draw that air in through the nose and inflate that belly. And then exhale, pull the belly in. Okay, I'm going to build you in stages here. Nice. So inhale into belly. Let the sides of the ribs expand 360 degrees. Slow that exhale down, sides in, belly draws up under. Next inhale, belly, rib cage expands. Lift that sternum up slightly, get into the clavicle. Reverse the movement, chest down, sides in, belly draws up and in. Okay. So let's inflate one more time here. Belly, side, sternum. Elongate that exhale and slow it down, reversing your movements. from the chest down. Nice. And there's your 3-part breath. Practice it for 3 minutes a day. That's what you can take away.
That's fantastic. She just gave you guys homework.
Uh-oh.
You guys just got homework.
Do it.
There you go. Do it. When should we get help, guys? You can say that, Elektra. You can say it all the time.
Every day.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter how much you know or how much you think you know, everybody should ask for help at some point.
Absolutely.
It's how you grow. Ask people that know more than you for help. Yeah. Whether you're a beginner or you are an expert, you can always learn more.
It's something Britt was saying today. She's like, it's a sign of strength if you can put yourself in that vulnerable state and ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for it. Like,
right.
And if we don't know, we'll find somebody that does, and we'll get you connected with them. Yep. So don't be afraid to ask for help. It doesn't matter what's going on. Hey, this doesn't feel right. Should it feel like this? Like, communicate, especially if you're training with somebody.
Yeah.
Communicate. Like, I know you guys want to hear that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And after class, we're always available.
Mm-hmm.
You ask a yoga teacher a question, and you might not get them to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Me, anyway. Like, if I get a student that asks me a question, like,
yeah.
So like, please ask me questions anytime.
She loves it. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Were there any questions that I should have asked that I did not? There's a question for you.
Oh. This might be another podcast, but I think taking the breathing and conditioning into a little bit deeper, Pfizer might be the best.
You might have just signed yourself up as his partner.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He might be the best nerd to talk to about that, which would be awesome to go more in depth of what happens after that breath. Where does it go? And what energy was I talking about? Like, what actually happens?
That's a good one. I like that. We're going to do it.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that one.
I will second that on the energy.
Yeah. It's funny because that was the other time I used 3-part breath. It was on my AMA.
When you're dying with the mask.
It was like,
on,
okay. Well, so it's funny. Like, I don't know if some of you listeners know what an AMA is, but essentially what they do is they put a mask on you that measures your oxygen inflow and also while you're getting your heart rate measured as well. But this mask is kind of like, I get a little claustrophobic. And so then when they put that on me, I'm like, and he's like, it's going to be weird because it pinches you in the nose, and it does. But then I start like salivating through my mouth.
Just really uncomfortable.
I'm
Much good data from
so I'm like, I feel really bad for the poor guy that's got to clean this mask. And he's like, oh no, it's yours. You get to keep it. I'm like, it's probably a good thing because I slept real inside. But no, I think that's a great idea. I really like that idea. It's fantastic because we want people to understand, So we talked about why it's important, but what does it do for your body?
Yeah.
Outside of calming you, helping reduce anxiety, help reduce stress, right? Help cleanse. Like you talk about the cleanse perspective, is what that means in scientific terms for your body, for your muscles, right? Like not breathing equivalates. Not for those of you that want to understand this from a way that not as many gains. Okay, so yeah. What about you, Elektra? Any questions I should have asked that I didn't?
I think back with the energy, how does the breath connect with the energy of the body?
Mm-hmm.
In yoga, we call energy prana. Breath practice is pranayama. It's the awareness of breath controlled, energy control. Prana is translated to life force. And you can literally push and move energy around the body with the breath, especially if you're under pressure, under stress on the mat.
Mm-hmm. You're
shifting and coaxing that prana to that area. And you've heard me probably talk about that a little bit in surrender.
Just a little bit. I can remember little bits and pieces of it. Lastly, this is kind of your guys' plug zone. Okay. But first I want you to talk about, before you plug anything, what are some excellent resources that you guys use in your research? So kind of where do you go? People kind of want to know, hey, what are the smart guys, where do the smart people study at?
Let's see. Google Scholar is a good place. Finding good accredited research that people have already done. There's a lot of research that people have already done that you don't have to work hard to go find something new. You go find what all these other people have done and learn from it, and then take what you read and put it into practice. And then social media is a big one. following people that know what they're doing and have good practice.
Because let's be clear, there's people out there that don't know.
Yeah, make sure you're
a credible source.
The good ones are the ones that post the research with it.
Yeah.
Give some ideas and then post some research and say if you want to read more on to what I just showed. Those are the ones I go for.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You guys do some stuff here at Lifetime too.
Yeah, we do a lot of continued education. One of the things I love about being here is we do weekly education meetings where we all get together and talk about everything new and still going in health and fitness, because as much as that is changing, you got to stay up to date.
Share knowledge. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool sign of tribalism. There is how you guys share that knowledge together. You each help each other get smarter at certain things, and you each kind of have your own passion too. Like every person kind of specializes in something they really enjoy. But you guys teach each other, and that is something that I think is cool, because that continued growth piece is important. What about you, Elektra?
Resources. If you want to dive deep into the yogic philosophy, the yoga practice, the physical aspect, and even some of the esoteric, go to a teacher training. Lifetime has teacher trainings twice a year.
You guys just had one, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
The next one starts in February 21st with Sue Parks here at Lennox and OP in Kansas City. Online, I would say for social media wise, maybe you see Yoga International. That's a magazine I like. I love David Swinson, and I use his book on top of his video under his primary series. He is in a tank top, purple tank top and white spandex, and it's a video back in I think 80s, but it's his primary series. And David Swinson brought Ashtanga, which is our lineage here at Lifetime, brought Ashtanga to America from India.
So he's kind of the grandfather.
He's a grandfather, yes. And he has a video on YouTube, so look up David Swinson primary series.
Okay.
He is fantastic and so loving.
I'm excited.
And
I'm going to
let
try
me know
this
what
out. Okay, where can we find you? How can we get a hold of you if we need some Elektra or we need some Josh? What are some Instagram tags?
Instagram.
I know, right?
Your email, your whatever.
Yeah, Instagram, Josh R. Thomas with an underscore at the end. You can email me, jthomas8@lt.life, or just find me walking around Lifetime. I'm here most of the time.
Don't be afraid to reach out.
No, come find me.
Josh likes to talk. He's a talker.
Yeah, come say hi.
What about you, Elektra?
You can reach me through Facebook on social media. My Facebook page is my business page. It's Elektra, Elektra, and my last name is Hendrickson. I do have a Lifetime email, Elektra Hendrickson at lt.life. I don't use that very much. My private email is spelled out, the stars are for you, at gmail.com, and I did that back in 1999, and don't ask me why.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
2000 was right around the corner. Yeah. So, okay. And is there anything getting ready to come up for you guys or here at Lifetime Fitness that you want to talk about? You want to go first, Elektra?
Here at Lifetime Fitness?
Yeah, either or.
Well, I teach Root, which is foundational class, on Sunday at 9:15 up in the yoga studio. And then I have Surrender at noon on Thursdays. I'd love for you to join me there.
My favorite class.
And outside of Lifetime, thank you. Outside of Lifetime, I have a cruise coming up to Cuba in May through Global Connections. And you can, again, Messenger is the best way. If you're international or if you're not from Kansas City, please find me through Messenger. And I usually can get back to you within a day or two.
Cool. We got some international listeners, so that's helpful.
Nice.
Yeah. Josh, anything coming up?
We've got some cool group training stuff that just got released. We've talked about Alpha a lot on your podcast.
Yes.
Some exciting new news where you can come work out every day of the week instead of just a couple times. So that's, I think, the biggest news
change
so far. Yeah.
So you guys have Alpha Metcon and Alpha Strong right now.
Yeah.
There's still the boot camp class, right?
Nope.
No more boot camp.
No more.
There's
now Alpha Metcon, and it's programmed
Smartly.
That's the way to
That's
say
okay.
it.
We'll go with it. It's all right. It's not our primary language, right? English. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. I appreciate your time. You guys did a great job. You answered my questions. You signed yourself up for another podcast, so congratulations on that.
Deal.
Yeah. All right, that's a wrap on episode 1 of season 2. Did you guys have any good takeaways this week? I definitely did. I really liked hearing Elektra talk about the 3-part breath and how she guided us through that. It definitely has triggered some more conscious effort on my part of trying to incorporate that into my regular routine. I know I tend to kind of walk around and breathe up in the upper cavity of my chest and forget that there's a whole other portion of it that I can use. So definitely a pretty helpful tip. As a follow-up, we do have another episode coming up to talk about the science behind breath, and we'll be speaking with Coach Jonathan Pfizer, as Coach Josh Thomas had recommended. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to come out here probably within the next month and a half. That's going to be a good one because Jonathan's always a lot of fun. Anyways, thank you everybody for the support, and keep bringing those comments our way, and have a great week. Thanks.